of them, and I don't think I hadn't heard from him the other night. So I'm going to try to sit this way, so we got the camera turned around so they can see everybody here. And this has been pretty handy, but I'll tell you, I'm be looking forward to the day we just turn it off, shut that off, and we don't have to deal with that anymore.
You got hair just a little out of place. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I can see it from this side.
Just us at the moment.
Do what?
I said just us at the moment.
Yeah, maybe somebody will jump on. We're going to go with 5:30. We're going to get her going. I hadn't got as many last minute. I won't be able to be there, but they may just said I'm just going to blow it off regardless. So we'll see. I have got a few. I know Susan's had somebody, her mom or somebody fell, broke her wrist or something. I think she's a bit hurt. And had several say they would Zoom in. So we should see what we get.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, we've had to get our census. We've had to close some of our rooms down. We have people taking questions.
Right now, look at real fast. 60 patients. That's only 43% capacity.
The past 2 weeks, we've had a count. We got to have full house. We have people to take care of them.
Were they not because of COVID stuff, or what? I mean, or just can't find them, and just can't.
Well, it's a combination, but a lot of them are going off to bigger cities, to big COVID areas where they're getting paid. You know, they're traveling and getting paid big money, and so we've lost our local people.
Man,
Full-time position.
dang, I may be a nurse.
Can't get them.
Can't get $50 an hour. You
Over 100,000 a year. Start.
would think over here in this area in Western, you would think people would jump on that.
Like we've got it right now at $70 an hour, and I'm getting them a $500
We got
bonus
70
per day.
No wonder I can't
Per
get
day. You can't get them to touch it.
I'm
Can't get them to touch it.
about time.
Just 2 years.
I mean, seriously, because we're losing money. And so
Where are you at?
at West Tennessee.
Well, my boyfriend's a nurse, so he might need to
We'll
go.
send him there because really, yeah. I mean,
I had an RN since very medic behind mine.
and we can't even get agency. We put out agency, not a buy.
That's making me a little nervous.
I don't know what it does on us. Extra COVID does it. 1 to 2 days ago, because you're all guarded up and it's not crossing that place. Normally, I could have 1 nurse for 5 patients. So if I had 100 nurses to staff a 500 bed hospital, that goes down to only 200 beds when you're COVID patients for the same amount of nurses. So we've got as many nurses as well. But when you start having COVID patients in there, it takes away all of the few patients.
I mean, of course, the news doesn't tell us that all these, just in West Tennessee, look how many has closed. So they all go to some of the other hospitals. And so they're all overcrowded, but they don't tell you that there's 15 of them closed.
Yes. It's what we've been saying. They didn't change something about the way hospitals pay. She knows that she got people dive and how to do that here. You know, kind of figure out. It's so hard in small hospitals. Yeah. When you close them all, then you bottleneck big hospitals.
Right.
Big place forward.
Of course, CMS changed all the billing rules, regulations, you know, so our Medicare mix went down. That was our top payer. And so now, you know, you got all the rest coming in and taking their,
Yeah.
yep.
Hello, Lori. Who come in? Somebody come in?
I thought so. That may have been Kathleen. Let me make sure her sound is on.
And I'm gonna turn this air down.
Oh, she's
No, we've been able to manage, it's been crazy, but I tell you, I said, we're in the hope, $80,000. So we can bring it out. I'm gonna figure it out, so it's been, we were bringing it out, but you know, cause I can't do that.
Yeah.
But it's been tough, there's gonna be a day we ain't gonna bring it out, I'm afraid.
How's the daycare business going?
Good, I'm loving it. I'm loving it.
So who ended up taking your spot? Did they ever?
My niece is gonna bake home roots. You've been living in Gallatin.
Yes, used to be a Bratcher? Yeah, okay, we're good. Has she started or officially
No,
started?
she had to put in her 2-week notice, so she won't start till the 21st.
Okay, so they're
She
just,
actually did an internship with Pro Perkins.
did she? Well, I don't remember when that was. I remember her coming
Long time
over.
ago, whenever she was in college, so over 10 years ago.
Okay. Well, good deal. Good deal. All right, so Lakin is in, I see. Lakin, can you hear us? She is unmuted. Is our volume up? I can hear anything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Okay.
Laura's just muted.
Can you hear me?
All right. Be calling on y'all for something, just making sure where's the, make sure that, I can't hear anything. Yeah, you weren't lying to me, but the.
Yeah, it's on-
Because I think
it's
it's pretty
on.
hard to,
The
one of the
volume's all
deals
the
we
way
got.
up on the
Okay.
computer.
all right.
You know.
Yeah. Well, all right, guys, I'm gonna be awkward and kind of sit sideways here, so we can y'all don't have to look at my back the whole time. But thank y'all for being here this afternoon. I was hoping we could have us a pretty full house. I don't think we're gonna have that, but we're gonna roll right on with what we have got. Maybe somebody will trickle in here in a minute on Zoom, and maybe we have a few more come in by in-person meetings. But anyway, if y'all are ready, we'll just go right along and go down the road. I know Ginger was feeling pretty rough. I think she's missed a couple of days of work this week, so she usually got her mission statement and everything. I put together some pretty rough last minute minutes. If y'all get an opportunity to look at those real quick and just give me a motion to approve or not, and we'll roll on from there. And Lori, can y'all hear us okay? Okay. Blake, and you're good? We're all good on that? I'll make her answer. And she's still muting. Okay, we hear you now. I just want to make sure. I was afraid you was taking a nap or reading a book or something. I just want to check on you.
I
You
make
can't
a
see me
motion,
smiling. I'm picking at you.
I make a motion to approve these minutes.
Okay, got a motion. All right, motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? All right, thank y'all very much. I'll go on down to the program report. And of course, currently we've got in our parenting group / individual or advocacy cases, comprising of 19 adults and 24 children. In the therapy program, we've got 11 families with 15 kids and 1 adult. And in the relative caregiver program, 5 families with 5 adults and 17 children. Now, just kind of, some of the families may have an overline. I don't try to double dip, but some of these, somebody may have a case in advocacy, but also be in therapy. I tried to spread them out, and it just wasn't working. So I was just trying to put to everybody the different, because the first line is Shelby's cases. The second line is what Kathleen works with. And then our third line is what Lolita out of Henderson County works with. So she's got Henderson and Decatur County that she is working with both. And that last line, of course, Scott, is what you were talking about, the grandparents and such that are raising these kids. And so we've had a couple of new referrals there. One thing we talked about at the last meeting was expecting probably a surge of cases at some point. I think over the past 2 or 3 weeks, we've probably saw that a little bit. Once kids get back in school, and I don't think this week's been as bad, but we did have a pretty good little run there. And just to kind of give y'all an idea of something too, we've been over talking to Danny this morning, and he's going to be running a piece for us, kind of talking about the things to look for, the prevalence of it, different things. And so I've started looking at some numbers there. And I got a couple of years as far as how many cases were called into Decatur County, the Department of Children's Services, that they investigate yearly. And over the past 2 years, it looks like anywhere between 200 and 250 cases are reported and looked into by Children's Services. Now, we don't obviously see all of those, but now a lot of times, depending on what they find, that's when they contact us and say, we've recognized a need for this, whatever is going on. And the other thing I told him was probably, I would say 20 to 25% of those are the child sex abuse cases that we do handle directly. And so there'll be something coming out in the paper on that a little bit. And it just kind of gives you, I have no idea compared to other counties, you know, how many cases they see or whatever. For a small place, that sounds like an awful lot. I mean, you're looking at 20 plus cases a month that Children's Services are looking into. And those could range anywhere from severe child sexual abuse to neglect in the home, to a dirty home, to educational neglect. It can run all over that. But I do think one thing maybe that's positive out of the COVID stuff is I think people are more aware that kids are home. Kids are not always home is not always the best place for a lot of these kids. So I think the awareness building has improved a little bit. So I'm going to look at that as a positive. And so we're going to see what we can do in the paper with that. And hopefully that'll help, you know, as we move forward with the bass tournament, to help people understand, you know, this is why we didn't call this thing off. We need to be here, and the abuse didn't stop. We can't stop either. And we'll just be smart, we'll be safe, but we're gonna move forward. And so, you know, I don't know about y'all, but I've seen tons of articles lately about all these child trafficking things they're busting up. I mean, just the harsh reality is every time when you're walking through the store, there's no telling how many victims of abuse that you're walking past. It would surprise you. And so just keep that in mind, that it happens so much more than people are aware of. So it's a good thing to be able to have those conversations, to know what we can do to keep these kids safe. So anybody got any questions or comments before I move on with that? If not, I'll move on to old business, just kind of to wrap up with telethon. We did have a good telethon. Now we kept our pledges the same. Are they going to be able to bring in what we have been? Probably not. Just because this is truly, I have no earthly idea what to expect in terms of participation from the community this year. I don't know if people are going to be too afraid to get out. I don't know if people feel so pent up that I've got to get out and go somewhere, and that, you know, around here we ain't scared of nothing, we just go. I have no idea. It may be the biggest crowd we've ever had. I couldn't tell you. I'm trying to prepare myself that we're going to be a little, you know, down from previous years, but I still think we're going to be okay as we go forward. But telethon was good. We picked up some extra money and donations we normally don't get, so that's always a plus. And we have had a lot of people that have called to check on us, want to know, are you in need? Is there anything we can do for you? We had a group today that brought us some food, some different supplies here, some diapers, different things. And I've got another bunch that should be coming up pretty quick. So we've had folks that they're aware of our needs, and they're looking out for us. And so that's been a great thing too. But for y'all that help take part in the telethon, I greatly appreciate it. That's going to be a big thing for us moving forward. Going into the new business part, there's really not a lot of us here, but I did want to say, and kind of give me y'all's thoughts on this. For the Dancing with the Stars event, I think we've just kind of decided, let's just push that back a couple of months. I think February is probably unrealistic to think we would have any kind of crowd right now in doing that. So I'm kind of looking at, I went ahead and put us on, got us a date reserved at the fairgrounds. I think it's for May 1st. I'd really kind of like to bump that up just a hair, maybe middle of April, because what I'm afraid of is moving into, if the kids are still in school and things are going well, I don't want it to run into proms, to senior banquets, all this kind of stuff. So I'm hoping maybe a little bit sooner would be better than later. What do y'all think about that time frame, mid-April to end of April? Are y'all good with that? Do y'all think that's a good idea? What do y'all think?
The only thing I can think of happens in April is the coon hunt.
Oh, Lincoln, there you go. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I lost you sound there a minute. Go ahead.
Like the second weekend in April at the fairgrounds.
I think she said something about.
Just keep that in mind.
Talking about the coon hunt. being the-
The last part I heard was keep that in mind. Say that one more time, Lincoln.
The coon hunt is always.
Yes. They're typically the second weekend in April. So I'm thinking if we can maybe come in after that, and if not, we can stick with the May 1st if we have to. Henderson County went ahead and set theirs for the last Saturday in April. And so I'm either trying to get a week ahead of them or just come in the week after them is probably what I'm looking at. So like I said, right now we're May 1st, and thank you for reminding me of that, because we do tend to, at that time of year, you start running into stuff and I forget what all is scheduled. So of course, I guarantee you Georgia will not let me rent that place for that second weekend in April anyway. He'll make sure that doesn't happen. But I'm thinking maybe if we can get in there and get that done. Of course, if we do the week after them, you're kind of running into, will everything be out of the way, but it just have to be. But I think that's the time frame that we're looking at. Does that sound, is that smart? Does it matter? What are y'all thinking? Because those of you in the medical stuff, just from what I'm hearing, I just don't know that they'll have.
I know Lexington's prom is in April.
Yeah, we're going to run into everything, I'm afraid. And honestly, I think what we're going to have to do is just set a date, and whatever happens. You know, the thing may just turn completely south, and
By February, would we know something, how things are going anyhow? If things are going bad, are we obligated for that?
I mean, as far as obligated, we can always change that. I mean, my biggest point for the people dancing, if we're going to ask them to do it, I want to be able to give them a time and say, okay, this is what we're shooting for. That was kind of my wanting to put it back, because I didn't want to tell them we're shooting for February, but it may be April, could be June. I just hated that. If they're going to put that effort in, I want them to at least have something to know that they're working toward. And, you know, again, and we may have to do it with half capacity. We may have to do it with quarter capacity. I have no idea. It may have to do everything online. I honestly don't know. I know from central office, everybody's talking about trying to plan for virtual stuff. I am as sick of hearing that word as I can be. And again, it's just kind of in an effort to, just like every other business that's doing what you can to hang on. That's kind of what we're looking at. I mean, you know, we're not trying to break the bank. We're trying to just do what we can. And that's not to paint a negative picture, but it's a realistic picture. You know, you're trying to do what we can to continue doing what we do. And we'll see at the end of the year, you know, where we stand. And I'm hopefully, I feel confident we'll be standing upright like we have been. It's going to be a rough one, but we'll get in there and we'll make it. But what I was going to ask y'all to do for those of you that are zooming in, and for those of you, if you're here, of course, some of you know, if you don't volunteer, I'm going to ask you anyway. But if y'all are willing to serve on that committee to plan and help with this, I'd like for us to get together here in a few weeks to just start looking at who do we want to ask. Let's nail that time down. Just kind of start work on what's going to be different. How's that going to look? So if y'all don't mind, if y'all are Zooming, if y'all will text me, if you're willing to do that. And for those of y'all here, I'm going to grab you before you get out here anyway. And but let's just see what we can do to get started amongst all this other stuff we've got going on. But we'll get that going and see what we can get going. The second thing on the agenda, just wanted to bring out, we do have an opportunity at the end of the year to do something we've never done before, and this will be center-wide, is we're giving away a Ford Bronco. You know, the Broncos have just come back out. Every county is going to be in on this, so we will all have raffle tickets that we're going to be able to sell. And whatever your county sells, your county keeps. Now, it hadn't been donated. There is going to be a cost that all the counties will share in that together, but there's 18 to 20 centers. It shouldn't be too bad once you split that out, and it's for whatever we're able to recoup. That's what we're going with. And so that is something we've never been able to do before. So I'm hoping that that's something that's going to be really big. I know I know the bunch in Jackson was very excited when they approached them about being able to do that. And so they tell me that it's supposed to be a big deal. They hadn't been made in how many years? So they look pretty nice. The ticket should be pretty affordable. I think it's like $25 a ticket for a new car, which is not a bad deal. And so anyway, we'll just try to push those as they come. I mean, I'll be asking everybody if we can, let's just go out and push them things, and that'll be an extra way for us to bring in some money at the end of the year. And so be looking for that. We will probably start trying to push that. I'm going to say maybe in late April. It'll have to go in front of the gaming commission. So where we've had that gaming license the last few years, and we've used it for Bass Classic, we won't have it for the next year because it'll go to that. But I think it'll be far more advantageous for the center as a whole to be able to do that than what we are. So this is really a year of trying stuff we've never tried before, and there'll be a lot of stuff. Dolly asked me yesterday about the online auction that we're looking at. So I'll kind of tie that into what we're doing here. They're trying to launch basically like a center-wide auction, I think on October 1st. I'm not looking to put a whole lot into that. I've really just got one thing right now I'm looking at because we're trying to gather for the classic auction on the 9th. And it's one of those things, I don't know. We'll see how it goes. There's good parts about it. I think you probably reach a much wider audience, but you're going to have more stuff. My question is, are people going to keep up with it? I think it's not like a Facebook auction. It's you've got to log into it. And I said, my hope is it's not a whole lot of work to get into it, because if it's somebody like me, if it takes too many clicks, I'm just going to back out of it. But we do have a couple of, I had doubles of something that I said I would put in, and we'll see how it goes. I'm going to put a reserve on it and see how well it does. And if it don't bring what I want, then I'm just going to pull it out and we'll put it into the Bass Classic auction. And otherwise, it's going to go to the Bass Classic total anyway. So with that said, of course, we've got our event coming up on October 9th and 10th. So far, plans are going well. All of our major sponsors that we have had are still in with us. There's been some that's kind of scaled back a hair, but not terribly. That was kind of my big fear is, who's going to continue to be able to, this has affected everybody. But so far, so good. Everybody has kind of come through. So fishing wise, we need boats. That's kind of my, again, we're going to see what happens. We just don't know. But we've got off to a pretty good start with sponsorships, and we've got a little money to come in to cover some things. And of course, we get, X number of boats, I think around, if you can get 125, everything from there becomes free and clear for us. So I'm really hoping we get there. I know the judge has said we're a little bit behind, I think, right now. Of course, we didn't get to really push as early as we wanted to because we were just kind of in limbo. We just didn't really know what we were going to get to do. And so there's obviously going to be some changes with what we're doing. A lot of it's going to take place down at the marina. We're not going to be able to do a lot of the things we do down there in the mornings, like being inside the marina and eating and all that stuff. That's going to be greatly changed. I still don't know exactly what we're doing with the weigh-in. I don't know if it's going to be indoors or outdoors. I'll let the judge make that decision. So we're still kind of playing that. Weather's going to play a factor in it. But of course, the auction will still be indoors. But the good news is we've got a 20,000 square foot building. We can spread out. So it shouldn't be any issue with people on top of each other. We can't mandate anything, but I've got signs all over the building encouraging everybody to wear your mask, keep your distance. my staff and I will have ours on. The kitchen, I know everybody's gonna be having on back there. I really would like, I mean, if somebody's not wearing one, I'm not gonna come screeching out and start, trying to drag them out or anything, because that'll sure lose our crowd. But I'm hoping people will be conscientious and trying to keep our distance, and hopefully this will be the last one we ever do during a pandemic, because this is not fun to plan around. But I think we can do it. I think we can be smart. I think we can be safe, and hopefully my goal is to be a model of how to do things safely, so other things can maybe come back a little bit, and maybe we'll be a model in the good way versus not what not to do, but maybe of what we can do to do this in a good, safe manner. So with that said, the biggest thing I'm looking for right now out of the board is trying to put everybody in place for our activities and for the kitchen staff, and mainly for the auction, because the auction is one thing we can't control how many people is going to come. We can't control how much they're willing to bid, but we can at least control what things we're bringing in. I do expect that will be down as far as the number of stuff we have. I know I was looking at last year's stuff. Man, we hit gold last year. We had all kind of stuff. We had different trips and all kind of stuff. I know there's 2 of those we've lost this year just because the places that give you the overnight stays, they just can't this year. Most of our big stuff, I think, is coming back. GSM and the blind that brought 3,000. I can't get 100%, but I'm about 90 on that. I've been talking to the guy out there, and I feel very good about it. I just feel better when it's in our possession. Got the trailer from Wally Mo. Most of the big stuff is coming back, but it's this other stuff that usually shows up that I don't even know where a lot of it comes from is what I'm trying to make sure that we're all able to get. And so several of y'all, if y'all got the handout that I emailed to everybody, I took a list just from the chamber of what was, and of course I've got 40 some odd things that I have either contacted or I've already got somebody looking into for us. But what you see on that list is 24 left that I have not had anybody that's, and if nobody steps up, we'll just call them. But some of y'all may have. Yes.
I sent you an email that I went on and took some more.
And I appreciate that. And but before we finalize yours, now, Lakin, Bob's Pest Control, you know anybody who works there?
I know somebody.
Okay. Lakin's has Bob's Pest Control. So if you could check with Bob, I thought you might have a good, he tends to seem like he listens to you pretty good. If you wouldn't mind checking with Bob, and I know Bob's done some stuff for us in the past. If he can't, that's fine. But we what? You didn't come through, Lakin. I'm sorry.
Greencrest. She said Greencrest.
Greencrest. You got a connection there too, huh? All right. Awesome. Let me write that down. And Dolly, you had, who was those other 3 you told me, Dolly? I'm sorry.
Well, I've circled more since then. I'll take 3 Ps. Okay. Ace Hardware, Bailey's Pizza, Food Giant, Parsons Nutrition, Parsons Save-A-Lot, and Rogers Group.
All right. I'm going to have to, you may have to do those one more time. Dolly's got like 30 of these. You've got more than I've done, Dolly.
Yeah, I've already contacted people and they said they would donate.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Right, you go
back.
I'm sorry.
I said I contacted people from the first list.
Awesome. And somebody else spoke up right after that, I think, too. Maybe not. Okay. And so you said Parsons Nutrition. And who else did you say, Dolly? I'm sorry. Can you go through it one more time?
Parsons Save-A-Lot, Rogers Group.
Okay.
Food Giant, Bailey's Pizza, Ace Hardware, and 3 Ps.
Okay. Thank you very much. Y'all see what else is on this list? Do any of y'all have some contacts that y'all would be willing to take these names? Have y'all got some better connections than what I've got? Does anybody want to speak up and take some of these before I knock these off?
I've got Sherry's.
Okay. Tom had a connection with Sherry's. I appreciate that. Thank you, sir. All right, so Anita's got tips to toes.
I can do S&C and, animal care clinic. and bills.
I can't even do alphabetical order anymore. All right, Robin's got S&C. Who did you
Bills
say?
and insurance,
Bills and
animal care
insurance.
clinic, and I do jail.
Okay.
I can take Laura go.
And I don't know if Steve does a whole, I don't know about him, but if you, anything you can pull out of him, I'd appreciate it. I don't know.
And City
you-
Drugstore, I contacted them today, and she said, we don't really have anything as far as items, but we can make a donation.
We'll take that too. Those are fine. We sent out letters, I don't know, sometime, I think late July, and just letting people know, hey, we'll be calling and contacting, and we've got a few checks back. And if they can't give an item, Lord, yes.
A month's pharmaceutical needs.
There you go. Listen,
Well, hey, what about donating a month
there you go.
per whoever it is?
So we'll, listen, if it's not nailed down, we'll sell it right now. And
Give her some ideas.
yeah, listen, and of course, just whatever, we can be creative during this. And
Animal care clinic, yeah.
anybody else, I'm sorry, I think I cut somebody off. Was somebody gonna say something? Any other things on anybody else on here wanna?
Bacon twine, anybody want bacon twine besides me? I'll get bacon twine.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, I can take the golf course.
Good deal, thank you. Let's see.
I'll take all of them.
G. Williams. What else?
Let's see.
What is Rustic Meadows? I don't want those.
It may not even be in business anymore. I don't think it's, I think there's, they may still be on the list. I think Ginger has got what I was thinking. If she goes at Mary's
Oh,
Delight,
Mary's Delight. I was gonna ask
Rustic
that,
Meadows
Mary's
used to be
Ginger's
across,
connected.
Right, Barrett's old building.
that's where it used to be,
Oh, yeah,
yes.
no,
I think
that's not there.
that may have been out of business about 20 years. For some reason, I left them on the list. You can tell I didn't go to Rustic Meadows very often. I think it's about, I'm not sure why I got fast paced. I don't know unless they're gonna give us a doctor's visit. We'll take some money from them if they want to check out something. And I don't know, have they done a certificate or anything in the past? I'm really not sure. But if y'all don't, we can check that. Is the new China buffet, are they still running?
Are they all good? They are.
Oh, yeah.
Take out.
They got
Catering,
catering.
yeah. Gators is got a different cook. It's good food.
Oh, really?
Got a buffet type something. I hadn't been there. Everything sounds good.
Well, this
What's
is
left?
the only thing I don't have something down by is Gators, New China Buffet. That's it.
Who got Mark? Somebody got Mark?
I'll ask them both. I'll get them.
Okay, thank you, Dolly.
You're welcome.
That's the way to knock them out, y'all. I'm going to pick up something from Colpack in the morning. I got a couple of the whiskey barrels again. That's one of them I'm gonna put in the online thing, because they brought $500 at both thing last year, so maybe we can get something close to that again. So I'm hoping, like I said, I know we're gonna be minus a few trips. We had some furniture and stuff last year that we had donated that won't be back. It's just hard to tell, but now where we may have dropped off, something may come back in its place. You can't ever tell. Supposed to be getting a call back from Vulcan about getting a load of gravel. So, we'll just see. But beyond that, now this was just a list of stuff I got from the chamber. There may be a lot of other stuff that I am missing off here. Like I said, I've got a list of what I had already contacted. I probably brought it with me, but anyway, but the other, whatever else is on the chamber list, we've already had somebody either spoken to or I've contacted them. But if you know folks that are, that are handy in making stuff.
You got Hank do anything?
No one, thank you. I've got to ask Hank. You want to ask him? And
Co-op.
yes, Laura Long's going to do co-op.
With Tractor Supply, are we too early for them?
I don't know. I'm probably too early, but I don't know who a contact is. But I can get with Charles and see if he's can give me an idea on that. And hopefully that'll be something good for us coming up in the future that we'll be able to get a hold of. But if you got people that you know that sells anything, makes anything, reach out to them. I know I talked to Jennifer Rawson today, and she's going to have another one of her reefs, and Janet Pettigrew is going to give us something. And so anything as far as, you know, because we're not looking just for hunting and fishing stuff, we're looking for something for anybody. The fall stuff, the holiday stuff seems to go real good this time of year. So if you know somebody that makes something and willing to give, I know the quilt that my grandmother and them usually do, they didn't make one. She's in bad health and in the hospital right now. So that bunch didn't make one. Usually the ladies from Dorcas, I believe it is, they make a quilt. Those things go for a lot. I don't know if they're meeting during all this or not. I don't have a clue. So, you know, there's some things that we normally are just a staple for us that may or may not be there. So if you know anybody that quilts, homemade quilts seem to go very well. Does anybody have an idea of, we're going to be running out of time soon, guys. I'm sorry, and I'll let y'all go. If anybody's got an idea of if somebody's got a beach house, if somebody's got a cabin on the river or somewhere, if you think they'd be interested in donating that for a weekend or for whatever, let me know, and we'll do that up. That'll be fine. Real quick, because I think we're going to run out of time on Zoom. Beyond that, I'm just going to need some folks in some place. Biggest thing I'm looking for right now, I think we are going to go ahead and do the kids fishing rodeo and the pumpkin contest. Of course, the pumpkin decorating, we're just going to move it outdoors. I really just don't feel comfortable having a bunch of kids all crowded around a table inside the building. But I talked to Laura and I said, you know, I think she kind of would like to have done it. And I said, if we can do it outside, let's do it. We can pull some tables out. We can do that and not have everybody bunched up on each other. Of course, that's going to depend on the weather. But I need some volunteers to help her with that. If anybody here is willing, I think she said she'd need probably 10 to 12 folks to help her. That'll be on October the 10th from around, say, 11 to about 2. If anybody is available to do that, y'all can shoot me a text, email, let me know, whatever, if you would do that. Lori, are you going to hang with us down at the river this year, or is that all right? So Lori's in. Are you going to be around? Not around. That's okay.
My daughter's getting married that day.
We can't do that. All right, let's don't do that. We're going to be all right. But anyway, so what I may have to do is just kind of get hold of everybody individually. If y'all weren't here able to answer on that, but just kind of say who we can plug in and where. And so anyway, other than that, but if we can help out with that, I think the kitchen shifts are covered pretty good. I've got a couple more folks to contact on that, but I think everything is going pretty well. So if y'all can just, if folks can be around, maybe, and for the auction. Some of y'all that helped with the auction last year, if y'all are willing to come back and do that, I had my list, but I can't remember who all done that last year. But especially if y'all done it before and you know what to expect, that's a huge help to us. And so other than just getting a few people plugged in, I think we're sitting in pretty good shape. But if we can really focus on the auction items and getting things in, if people are asking for a date, you can tell them by October 1st is a good date to shoot for. But if they can just have it to the fairgrounds by, say, noon on the 9th, which is, you know, the day of, that'll be fine too, because we end up usually with a lot of stuff that we didn't even know we were having coming over there. They can bring it over there and we'll be glad to take it.
Ray, I have a quick question.
Sure.
I had a few boaters ask me, are we going to have the boat able to do the boat giveaway like we usually do?
The boat will be there. We hadn't got confirmation on the Mercury, on the motor yet. We do have confirmation on the boat. I just hadn't put it out there yet because I didn't want to put that the boat and motor was coming until we got confirmation on the motor. So there'll be a boat. May not be anything to push it besides a paddle, but the boat, yes, there will be a boat. I think, Lori, that the motor will be there, but the way they've got it set up, you can't apply for it like 30 days before, and so we don't ever know till last minute. But I think everything will be there as usual. And I don't know, I've heard some, I think some, you know, we may try to cut back on the reverse draw part some, maybe not make it as long. That's not my call, but we can look into it. I know that's what some of them would like to kind of pull back the time, but other than that, I think it'll be available. But as soon as I know for sure, I'll put it out there.
That was another question that some boaters had asked me is, were we gonna still do it as a reverse draw? Because, and I haven't looked to see, but they said that right now gatherings in the state is still at 50% capacity. Any big events?
Yes, but fortunately, we are under that with the fairgrounds building. I checked that quick. They, on their website, they claim 3,000 seating capacity. We're fine. I would say at our best, we're probably at 25%. I would say, you know, I don't know, maybe 600 to 700 folks. That's on a good day. I'm guessing closer to 5 is what we normally have. So we are within that. And now that don't mean all 500 people may sit right on top of each other. I don't know. But as far as pure numbers inside, I think we're good. That was and I'm glad you brought that up, because that was the first thing I checked on, was what is our capacity and what can we get in there. So numbers speaking, we should be good. And I just hope the governor doesn't reduce that anymore on us. So we'll see. And of course, and I think by that time too, anything that I can do to help get us out of there quicker, get everybody out, I think will be a good thing. But we'll see how much pull I've got in that area. We'll see how that goes. Anybody else got any questions? Anything to come up? It's been kind of it's been a wild day, and I don't think I was as really, I would like to be a little bit better organized than what I was, but trying to cover a lot before we run out of time on this and get y'all home at a good time. But has anybody else got any concerns, any questions?
Whatever came of the deal where we vote, we had 30 days to vote or 20 days to vote on something?
Somebody asked me that earlier. I never did hear. I'm assuming that means we didn't win. And I was surprised, because we have a ton of people all over West Tennessee. I really thought, well, this one, we'll just blow that out of the water. And that would have probably been an extra $1,000 for us here. We apparently did not. And so that's okay. I think if what I was pulling up online, it looked like we may have finished second. Hats off to whoever finished ahead of us, because we usually pull people in everywhere. But we'll see. I think they were supposed to announce that on the 3rd. That's came and gone, and I hadn't heard. So, but thank you for asking that. If I find out for sure, I will let y'all know. And just to let you know too, on the and this may be where I get drugged through the mud, but we're just gonna have to do what we got to do. We talked last time about what are we going to do for our raffle giveaway. We talked about different stuff. We ended up, I was finally able to find, I thought, trying to do something with firearms, because that seems to be a very popular thing. I found us, I won't call it an AR, but it's an AR. Had to order it from over in East Tennessee, but if anybody gets scared to death, they are legal. They're fine. All of our law enforcement knows we're doing it. So if anybody ever contacts you, says, I can't believe y'all are doing that, all law enforcement knows they've been notified as per the law for doing this. I think we can do good on it though, because it is it's in very high demand right now. I like never found one. It's a Smith & Wesson M&P is what it is. We of course had to pay for it, but I think we can make our money back and then some quickly. I think we'll do pretty well on it. I think that's our crowd. I think they like the guns. It's a fun gun to shoot. Just looks scary, but it ain't scary. It's okay. But anyway, I think it'll do well. And this probably last year we had one of those gaming licenses for a while anyway. So thought we would do that. But when tickets get printed, if I can get y'all to help me put those out there, we'll just move. And I hate it took this long. I really wanted to have them for us tonight, but they just haven't been printed yet. So as soon as I get those, I'll get in touch with y'all and see what we can do to get those out. And we'll roll and see what we can do. So hopefully we'll have a successful year and see what we can do. And I'll be in touch with y'all. I'll apologize ahead of time. Y'all probably get a lot of emails from me. I'm not trying to wear you out. Just got a lot to get in touch with for everybody. So anybody got any other questions or comments or concerns before we dismiss? All right. Well, guys, thank y'all very much. I'll be in touch with you and see y'all later. Thank you, guys. Anything else from anybody here?